So hey guys, this is your favorite the fictional vortex. So in this video, we will see, what if Naruto was combines all of his chakra and become Overlord Demon. But before we start, remember to subscribe and like this video. Now let's start. Who would have thought that I would die here? A wounded Naruto said as he started to cough up some blood. Dying just because I wasn't strong enough to take out all of the Akatsuki members. How pathetic, Naruto let out as he clutched his chest which was bleeding heavily. Give up Naruto, there is no way you can win in your current state. A man said from the shadows. Approaching Naruto, his face was lit and showed the one and only Uchiha Madara. Ha, if you know me you know I never give up, Nar. Yuto said as he weakly stood up and stared at the rest of the members. At times like this, it's best to rely on a huge technique, Naruto said weakly as he put both of his hands together. For 18 years of held Kyuubi inside of me, today is the day where I get destroyed along with it, Naruto said as blue and red chakra started to radiate from his body. What are you talking about, demon spawn? Madara asked as he stared at Naruto with a baffled look. It means that Akatsuki's plans will never be completed, Naruto said as he let a smile grace his face before the blue and red chakra mixed. This is the end, Naruto said silently amidst the yells of Madara screaming to stop him and the chakra swirling around him. All was silent for a few seconds before a huge explosion occurred, ting away everything that was around Naruto. Is this what it feels like to be dead? Naruto thought as he felt his body float in midair. There seemed to be no pain around his body and his body seemed to be lighter. This is a nice feeling, no stress or problems, I like it, Naruto thought as he felt his body come to a sudden stop. Too bad Kit, you're not dead yet but you're floating in a dimension time rip. Naruto heard the all too familiar voice of his resident say. What are you talking about, Kyuubi? Naruto asked with his eyes still closed. What I'm saying, Brad, is that you're still alive and breathing. Only that could change any moment now seeing what condition you're in. Why don't you fix me up like always? Naruto asked as he felt his body move again, only this time it felt like his body was being dragged down someplace. Because, for one, your body used too much of my chakra for me to heal you with, also I won't be around for much longer, Kyuubi said with disappointment in its voce. What are you talking about, furball? Naruto asked as he started to sound a bit more startled and shocked. What I'm saying is that my power was completely absorbed by your body in the last attack. Consequently that means I'll be destroyed also, Kyuubi said as its voice started to get weaker. So I'll tell you this, from what I know you'll be heading into the netherworld of you. Our own world. The problem is the issue of time and dimension. You are truly headed to the netherworld in your world, but it could be with another dimension or another time or both. Well, it doesn't matter to me at all, so I guess this is farewell, Kyuubi said as its voice started to fade away. You were always a pain in the butt, furball, Naruto said silently as a tear fell from his closed eyes. As the last tear fell from his face, Naruto opened his eyes only to wish he hadn't. There below him was the ground. The problem was that he was falling straight to it from what seemed to be around 40 to 50 feet. You seriously are a pain in the butt, Naruto shouted as he mentally screamed in his mind as he braced himself for impact. A few seconds later the impact came, only his body didn't hurt as much as he thought it would. Opening his eyes he looked around and found himself in a crater. That didn't hurt as much as I thought it would, Naruto said as he surprisingly felt lighter than he did before. My wounds. They're almost healed, but how, and why do I feel so weak? Naruto asked himself as he stared at his body touching all around before his hands went to his head. What's this? Naruto asked as he felt something shaped like a triangle on top of his head. What could they be? Naruto said as he pinched them only to feel a sharp pain course throughout his body. Okay, not a good idea to pinch things on head, Naruto said as he climbed out of the crater. Still, my body does hurt, Naruto said to himself as he started to move his arms in circles only to feel something move behind his buttocks. Twisting his head back he found something he didn't expect to find, a black tail. What's going on, a tail? Naruto yelled out as he saw the black tail behind him. Oh great, just when hot Kyuubi couldn't do any more harm it does this, why? Naruto screamed out, not noticing the scene he was creating. Hey, would you mind tuning your voice down? Some people are trying to enjoy some peace and quiet here. Naruto heard a girl say. Turning around quickly he saw a green-haired girl with a two-piece clothes on. She had on a headband on her head although it was covered by her hair. She also had an axe which was half her size. Hey, sorry, Naruto said in a sheepish voice as he started to walk away. Hold it, Naruto heard the girl say again. Turning around he saw the girl walk towards him with her axe lifted above her head with ease. How about you and I have a battle right here right now? I recently became a lady warrior so I want to test my skills, the girl said as brought down her axe next to her causing the ground to split a bit. Sorry, but I'm a bit injured right now so it's best for me not to fight, Naruto said only to see the girl charging at him with her axe raised. Shit, Naruto thought as he saw the axe come down at him. Reaching to his side Naruto quickly brought out a kunai which he used to guard against a blow from the girl's axe. Not giving Naruto a second to retaliate from the first strike the girl shouted, "Boulder Crush," and jumped into the air before she came down for a second blow. Seeing how he couldn't dodge at the moment Naruto raised his kunai for the impact only to be surprised at how strong the impact was. Barely holding his ground a miniature crater started to form underneath him while his kunai started to crack. Give me a break, Naruto said as he pushed back with his kunai against the girl's axe. Here I am injured, and this girl just comes along attacking me, what next exploding penguins? Naruto asked as he pushed the girl away from him. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, Naruto shouted causing 3 shadow clones to appear right next to him. What kind of skill is that? It seems similar to that of a ninja but different. The warrior girl asked only to stop when she saw the 4 Narutos charge at her. Ninja huh? I guess you can call it that, Naruto replied as he surrounded the girl. It's over, all 4 Naruto shouted as they charged straight at the girl. Shit, the girl let out as she saw all 4 Narutos close in on her. Closing her eyes she held her axe in front of her face as to protect herself from at least one of the clones. Tensing her body the girl waited only to feel nothing happen to her body. The girl let out as she opened her eyes slowly to see nothing around her. Looking forward she saw the same guy she was facing. Only he was walking away. Hey, where are you going? The girl asked as she started to feel angry. Trying to figure out what I should do now, Naruto let out conference. Using the girl as he continued on walking. Seeing him walk further on ahead her she had a multitude of thoughts most of them being anger. Wait up you, I won't take your pity just like this, the girl shouted as she started to run after Naruto only to see him fall down on the ground. Hey, what happened to you? The girl asked with a bit of concern in her voice. Walking over to his body she saw that Naruto was breathing heavily and seemed to be in pain. Just great. Now what should I do? The girl asked herself as she started to pace around Naruto's body. I'll just leave him be, the girl said as she started to walk away. Screw this, the girl said as she returned to Naruto's body and picked him up. What does this guy eat? He's heavier than anything I've lifted before, the girl saw it as she picked up Naruto and put him over her shoulder. I hope I don't run into any other monsters, the girl said as she started to run with Naruto on her back. What's happening? Naruto asked himself as he opened his eyes. Looking around he saw that he was in the sewer that was his mindscape. I see this place hasn't changed at all, Naruto said as he started to walk through the family corridors until he reached what was a giant cage. The only problem was that the cage had bent bars. That technique I last used must have done this, Naruto said to himself as they started to wander around the cage. It sure did, and it made your body a mess, Naruto heard an unfamiliar voice say. Turning around quickly he saw, sitting in front of him what was a small black fox. Who are you? Naruto asked as he jumped back from the fox. You can't be Kyuubi, Naruto said as he reached for a kunai only to find none. Relax, yes I'm not Kyuubi but I guess I could be called a remnant of what was left of her. The fox said confusing Naruto some more. Remnant, her, Naruto asked as a bunch of questions started to fill his head. Just start from the beginning, Naruto said as he calmed down. Yes, Kyuubi was a female, and I'm just what remained of her. Although now I am a part of you, the fox said confusing Naruto again. Before you say anything, I'll put it this way. When you started to pull out Kyuubi's chakra, it also started to pull bits and bits away from her. Seeing as you used your chakra and hers combined to attack, that caused the remnants such as me to merge with you, the Black Fox finished. So if you're a part of me, then why am I seeing a separate you right now? Naruto asked as he stared skeptically at the fox. That I'm not too sure about. What I am sure about is had because of me you have your new fox features, the fox said as it walked closer to Naruto. There are no negative stat changes from having fox features, so don't worry. Although I think you were reincarnated into this form so you'll feel weaker. But don't worry, I think your new form attracts girls easily, the fox said as it jumped at Naruto and disappeared into his body. What? Naruto let out only to open his eyes. Looking up, he saw the same warrior girl from before. Looking at the girl, he saw her blush immediately. Wondering why, he suddenly felt something touching his ears. Seeing that girl's hands were reaching over his face, he reached only one conclusion: she was touching his new ears. Can you stop that? Naruto asked, breaking the awkward silence that had plagued the room. Sorry, the girl said as she immediately jumped back and put her hands behind her back. It's just that, the girl said as one of her hands started to shoot forward only to be stopped by her other hand. Okay, Naruto said as he started to back up against the bed. I would appreciate it if you don't touch the ears, they seem really sensitive, miss. Naruto began waiting for the girl to say her name. Claire, a beginning lady warrior for hire now, Claire said with pride as she crossed her arms in front of her. Uzumaki Naruto, former ninja of Konoha, Naruto said as he got up from the bed slowly. Seems like I'm still off balance, Naruto thought as he started to wobble towards the door. I don't want to intrude on you, so I'll be leaving now, Naruto said as he started to walk out the door. Only to be stopped by something grabbing his tail. No, you're not intruding. Why don't you stay for a bit longer since your wounds have not fully healed, Claire said while playing around with Naruto's tail. I guess that's true, Naruto said as he scratched his face a bit. I'll stay for a bit then, Naruto said as he moved his tail out of Claire's hands. As Naruto moved towards the door, a low, ood sound emitted from his stomach, causing Naruto to blush a little. Seems like I'm a bit hungry. Do you happen to have any food? Naruto asked from the door. Yes, I do. Stay right here, I'll cook up something good for you to eat, Claire said as she pushed past Naruto and ran down what seemed to be some stairs. I guess I'm on the second floor, Naruto thought as he looked around the room. It was a common room with a table, 2 chairs, a bed, and some other small items. Looking at the table, he saw his kunai holster and picked it up and attached it to his pant leg. At least she left me with my clothes on, Naruto said to himself as he sat down on the bed. Ruminating on his situation, Naruto thought some more only to be disrupted by a foul smell coming from downstairs. Boo, what's this smell? Naruto thought as he started to get dizzy from the smell. Here you go, Naruto heard Claire say as the smell became stronger. Don't tell me, Naruto thought as he saw Claire enter the room with a black something on a plate. The black something didn't look like anything but seemed to ooze out a strange purple substance which emitted a purple cloud which formed into a skull for a moment. On second thought, I'm not so hungry anymore, Naruto said as he started to back away from the door which Claire was coming through. And I made this all for you, why don't you at least take a bite? See, Claire asked as she pushed the dish further into Naruto's direction with a smile on her face. Is she doing this on purpose? Naruto asked himself as he saw the black substance come closer to his face. Do I choose life or death? Naruto asked himself as he saw the plate come closer. I choose life, Naruto shouted out, suddenly causing Claire to jump back a bit. Taking this moment, Naruto jumped onto his bed and out a window which was conveniently located next to his window. Well, at least take some out with you, Claire shouted as she threw the black slop out of the window. There were a few seconds of silence before a dreaded scream from Naruto could be heard. He must like it, Claire said as she went downstairs. Damn, I don't feel like myself at all, Naruto said to himself as he walked through the small town he was in. I know all my techniques, but I don't have the strength to pull most of them off, Naruto said to himself again as he continued walking, not hearing the rapid footsteps behind him. And what's up with this world? I know it's the netherworld but it's too weird, Naruto thought as he saw a moth-like creature pass by him. Ah Naruto, I caught up with you, Naruto heard the familiar voice of Claire say as she stopped next to Naruto. You sure do walk fast for someone who just got out of bed, Claire said as she put one hand on Naruto's shoulder and the other on her knee and started to pant. Don't worry about me. My body's just like this because I apparently reincarnated into this form, Naruto said as he touched his ears. Whoa, you reincarnated? Then how strong were you before you reincarnated? After all, you have to be pretty strong to reincarnate, although I see no use in it. Claire asked as stars began to form in her eyes. I guess you could say I was TTY strong. Strong enough to take on some S-rank criminals, Naruto said as he started to walk, causing Claire to start moving also. Should have known that reincarnating meant going from a strong body to a weak one. Just wondering, do you know where we are right now? Naruto asked as he just started to walk aimlessly. This town is called Chaos Town. It's near the Overlord Castle in this netherworld. Ironically though, this world only has demon lords but no overlord, as no one is strong enough to become one. If someone did claim the title for overlord, then other overlords would most likely come to attack us, Claire said as she suddenly tilted her head back. Hey, that means you don't know what's where, Claire said as she grabbed onto Naruto's arm. Here, I'll show you around, Claire said, as she literally pulled Naruto off of his feet. I feel like my arm is going to fall off, Naruto said, his arm a bit. Who thought that girl could have so much strength? Naruto said as he pulled out a kunai and threw it across from him. There was a dull thud before a zombie fell down a few feet away from Naruto. Item world, huh? Quite a useful area to regain my strength and test these gloves, Naruto said as he turned around to face an army of small monsters. But then these monsters are too weak, Naruto said as he punched a nearby monster. Hitting another monster nearby, Naruto punched an other time, then used a somersault kick which sent the monster back and unconscious. How'd I learn how to do that? Naruto asked himself as he pondered over how he had just completed his recent move. It was like muscle memory, Naruto thought as he jumped up and over a zombie. Kaden. Gukyaku no Jutsu, Naruto said as he created a fireball which he fired at a bunch of monsters. Next level now, I guess, Naruto said as he saw the monsters all get killed off in the fireball. A few levels later, how many monsters have I killed already? Naruto asked himself as he practiced his new move, Tiger's Charge. A move that allowed him to move quickly at his opponent, confusing them with double bodies made from pure speed. Once confused, the user moves behind the opponent and delivers a strong uppercut, which damages the opponent on the way up and when they land. Although I'm getting new techniques, I still miss the power of my jutsus. I can't even form a Rasengan without a shadow clone, Naruto said as he mock cried, causing tears to run down his face. Hearing a string being pulled, he saw a girl that looked like Claire pull back a bowstring and aim at him. Fine, I'll just take out my sadness on you, Naruto shouted as he performed Tiger's Charge on the girl. Item General Stage. Hey, it's another ninja, Naruto shouted as he saw a ninja in the middle and the very top of the stage. He kind of looks like Kakashi, I wonder, Naruto said to himself as he reached into his kunai pouch and pulled out an orange book. Here, catch, Naruto said as he threw the book at the ninja that looked like Kakashi. Acting on reflex, the ninja caught the book. Opening the book, the ninja read a few pages before a huge nosebleed erupted from his nose. Not Kakashi enough, Naruto said as he saw the item general defeated easily. Turning towards the remaining enemies, he grinned evilly as he held several kunais in his hand. Target practice, Naruto said, causing the remaining few monsters to get a chill up their back. Free zone. There's actually a zone like this, Naruto said as he stared at the free space he was in. It was just like the previous item world stages, only this one didn't have any aggressive monsters. There were monsters such as the Dimension Ghost and a weird flower, gender-confused monster. Surprisingly, the flower girl was able to heal all of his energy and recharge his chakra source, which people called mana here. Although he did have to pay a fee to get the flower monster to heal him. Outside. Here's your item, Naruto heard a girl's voice say as he started to see the outside world. A girl about 4 inches shorter than him with a weird hat attire gave him back his 3-pronged kunai which he examined. That's pretty amazing though, getting up to level 30 in the item WoW. RLD by yourself after being reincarnated, the girl said as she looked Naruto over. So I'm assuming Claire told almost everyone about my situation. Naruto asked as he looked at the item world girl. Yup Naruto, the name's Joan. Thief and item world manager. Kind of late greeting but it's better late than never, Joan said as she put her hand behind her head. Okay. I'm assuming you know my name so I'll just be going on my way. Naruto said as he looked at the three-pronged kunai which he held in his hand. Feels a bit lighter, and sharp, Naruto thought as his kunai cut his hand easily. He was about to perform a minor medical jutsu when he saw that his cut had already healed. Strange, Naruto said to himself as he continued walking not noticing a figure walk in front of him until he tripped over it. Gah, watch where you're going Sue, Naruto heard a small squeaky voice say. Picking himself up Naruto turned around to see a weird penguin-like monster which had peg legs and small devil wings. It was a normal blue color and was staring at Naruto with a glare that could burn a hole through Naruto. Problem was that the creature looked too funny to even be intimidating, which caused Naruto to snicker a bit. Hey, are you making fun of Prinnies? The penguin asked as he reached inside the pouch in front of him and pulled out what seemed to be a bomb. Take this, the self-pronounced P. Rinny said as he ran towards Naruto with the bomb. How did that thing fit in there? Naruto thought as the bomb was coming closer. Still, this guy is way too obvious in his moves, Naruto finished his thought as he took a step forward before throwing his kunai. When the kunai was just behind the Prinny, Naruto disappeared in a flash of yellow and reappeared behind the Prinny, immobilizing it by holding its head. Now it's not nice to go out and randomly attack people is it? Naruto asked as he could see the Prinny in front of him start shaking and sweating. So what are you doing here? I didn't see you when I took my tour of this small town, Naruto said as he moved his hand to above the Prinny's head and put it on the bomb. Naruto heard nothing from the Prinny. If you tell me, I promise I won't hurt you. For the time being, Naruto said the last part silently as he took his hand off from the Prinny. I'm looking for an employer that won't treat me like my previous one did, she was pure evil Sue. The Prinny said as he put the bomb back in his pouch. Ah, well good luck finding someone to hire you, Naruto said as he started to walk off only to feel something tug at his shirt. Hire me. I can help with almost every chore in the house because of all the work experience that I have. I can even help you fight, sort of, the Prinny said as he started to tug onto Naruto. I don't have that much money, Naruto said as he pulled out his frog wallet only to see it stuffed, so stuffed that it started to break the bindings that held it. Okay, I have money, but I didn't have this much before, Naruto said not noticing the stars that were forming in the Prinny's eyes. I'll take on any rate, anything is better than what Demon Lord Edna gave me, the Prinny said as it desperately clung onto Naruto. If you can cook then you're hired, Naruto said. Looking down at the Prinny he saw that it had on a chef's hat and an apron which said, Kiss the cook. Show me the kitchen, the Prinny said as he reached into the apron's pockets and somehow pulled out a frying pan and a knife. Oi Claire, I hope you don't mind but I brought home a Prinny, Naruto shouted as he entered Claire's house. His name is Bismarck and he seems all right, Naruto shouted into the house as he saw Bismarck holding a broom and running around the house. Oh really? Naruto heard a voice say from another part of the house. That's good, because without my sis it's really hard to take care of the house, Claire said as Naruto saw a strange black cloud emitting from where Claire's voice came from. Gah, what's that smell? Naruto thought as the smoke cloud started to swirl around his head. Can't breathe, Naruto thought out as he kneeled down on the floor as the smoke cloud followed him down to the ground. Are you all right Sue? Bismarck asked as he saw Naruto start twitching on the floor. Naruto hears something to eat, Naruto heard Claire's voice say as she came rough the door with something black and smoking in her hand. You should eat it while it's hot, Claire said as she walked closer to Naruto, not paying attention to Naruto's twitching and moaning. I think you shouldn't bring that any closer to him Sue, Bismarck said as he saw the meal for himself. Then do you want it? Claire asked as she started to push the meal towards Bismarck. Sweating a lot Bismarck looked over his shoulder before something along the lines of food and poison. Ah, Naruto here, Claire said only to see that Naruto with X's over his eyes. What happened to you, Naruto? Claire asked as she saw the motionless form of Naruto. Must be tired from earlier, Claire said to herself as she picked up Naruto and moved him somewhere else. Mitsuki-sama, we will arrive at Chaos Town in a week and a few days. A girl's voice said as she reported to her master. Really now? Then let's go pay that town a visit. After all, the future overlord should get to know her subjects. A high voice sounded out from a weird carriage. Well, get on with it and get there. Servant, the voice apparently belonging to the person named Mitsuki. Hi, the servant's voice rang out as she started the carriage towards Chaos Town. I feel like I did before, Naruto said as he exited from the item world. Now at least I won't be pushed around, Naruto said as he put on a goofy grin which seemed to match his demure. I see you're happy, Naruto, Joan said as she handed Naruto his three-pronged kunai. You seem to do fine in the item dungeon, it's only been 1 week and you got to Level 90 of that item. Must be pretty strong, that item, Joan said in a shocked voice as she thought over his improvement. Hey, now I'm as strong as before, I might as well try to find a way back home, Naruto said as he flexed his fist. Oh yeah, a few minutes ago Claire came by and asked for you, Joan said as she stared at Naruto. Thanks, Claire. Oh, and don't even think about it, Naruto said as he turned around to see Claire reaching for his ears. Ah, you never let me touch them. Let me guess you saved that action for Claire, Joan said in a way that caused Naruto to blush. No, I don't. God, just leave me alone, Naruto said as he jumped onto a nearby building and went across the houses. Who was that? A girl thought as she saw Naruto run across the building tops with ease. Bismarck, who made dinner? Naruto asked in a loud voice as he entered Claire's house. Don't worry about a thing, Sue. I was the one who prepared lunch. Sue, Bismarck said as he came out from the kitchen with an apron on. Thanks for that. I could have survived another day if Claire cooked, Naruto said only to duck quickly. Passing over his head was an axe that Claire usually carried with her, only it was aimed at his head. Hey, that's dangerous, Naruto said as the axe came back straight at him. Putting out his hand, he caught the axe before it could touch him. Are you saying that my cooking is bad? Claire asked as she came down from the second floor. Well, out of the 20 times I've been forced to eat it, I've seen the gates to heaven 20 times, Naruto said as he threw Claire's axe back at her, which she caught with ease. Well, you like my cooking, don't you, Bismarck? Claire asked Bismarck only to see him missing. Let's just eat, Naruto said as he entered the kitchen. I'll make something you'll like one day, Naruto, Claire said as she followed Naruto into the kitchen. Mitsuki-sama, apparently the strongest people in this town live in that house over there, Anekomata said as she led a girl with a huge sword on her shoulder over to a house. Perfect. Beat them up and show everyone in this town we are a force not to reckon with, the one named Mitsuki said as she started to walk towards the house. Someone's knocking on the door. Bismarck, can you go get it? Naruto asked as he looked up from his bowl of ramen. Sue, Bismarck said as he moved from his part of the table and towards the door. A few seconds later a huge explosion was heard, and Bismarck was seen rolling into the dining room, burnt badly. You have some visitors, Naruto. Sue, Bismarck said before closing his eyes. I wonder who it could be, Naruto asked himself as he walked towards the main room. As soon as he entered it though, he put up his fists to guard against a heavy sword strike. Pretty good, Naruto soon heard a voice say. Looking at the owner, he saw a red-haired girl dressed in a two-piece. She looked like a normal human, only her ears were a bit pointed just like Claire's. Do you have any business with us? Naruto asked as he let go of the sword. Yes, to beat you to submission, the girl said as she charged at Naruto with her sword. Acting quickly, Naruto started to dodge the girl's sword attacks. We should take this outside, Naruto said as he grabbed the girl's arm as he dodged another sword strike. Aura, Naruto shouted as he threw her outside. Claire, I'm going out for a few minutes, Naruto said as he jumped out the hole that was created from the throw. As soon as he jumped out the hole, Naruto quickly jumped up to dodge another sword strike directed at him. You could hurt someone with that, Naruto said as he landed on her sword. That's what swords are for, idiot, the girl shouted as she hefted her sword upward so that Naruto was thrown up. Hurricane slash, the girl shouted as she started to go around in a circle. At first only a gentle breeze blew before a huge cyclone formed with Naruto in the middle. Can't move, Naruto thought as the winds picked up speeds. Looking down he saw nobody under me, where is she? Naruto thought only to feel a sharp pain go through his back. Seeing the girl go past him he saw what seemed to be his blood on the sword. Before he could say anything the girl dashed past him again delivering another near-fatal blow. Crap, how strong is she? Naruto thought to himself as he held his right arm which was leaking blood. Mitsuki-sama, it is advised to finish him off right now, a Nekomata said from far away. Give me some time, it's been a while since I've had this much fun, Mitsuki said as she positioned herself across from Naruto. Blade rush, Mitsuki shouted as she dashed toward Naruto with her sword. Not good, Naruto thought before something came to mind. Forming a quick hand sign Naruto let the attack hit him, only to be quickly replaced with a human-shaped log. Kawarimi no jutsu, Naruto said from a few feet away from Mitsuki. She's too strong, Naruto thought as he felt a bit more blood leak down from his side. Looks like you couldn't completely dodge my attack, Mitsuki said as she pointed at Naruto's side. My next attack will show why I'm fit to be the overlord of this world, Mitsuki said as huge mass of energy formed in her hands. Thunder crush, Mitsuki shouted as she sent the mass of energy into the sky. There was a few seconds of crashing in the sky before bolts of pure lighting started to come down from the sky. Shit, I can't dodge, Naruto thought only to be hit by an axe which knocked him out of the way. Geez, Naruto, what are you doing getting yourself beat up like that? Naruto heard Claire ask. Turning his head he saw Claire by the door of her house. You're acting really pathetic, you know, Claire continued as she caught her axe which came back to her. Well, sorry for acting so pathetic, Naruto shouted as he stood up, weakly, but was able to stand on both of his legs. Let's continue, Naruto said as he put on a determined face as he faced Mitsuki. That's fine with me, Mitsuki said as she started to gather energy in her hand again. Thunder crush, Mitsuki shouted as she threw the mass of energy up into the skies again. That won't work on me again, Naruto said as he pulled out his three-pronged kunai and threw it at Mitsuki's direction. See if you can keep up with this, Naruto said as he turned into a yellow flash before appearing next to Mitsuki. King of Beasts, Naruto shouted, putting chakra to his legs as he punched Mitsuki up into the air. The force of the punch caused the target, Mitsuki, to swirl around Naruto as he created a miniature vortex as he continued up. Stopping at the zenith of his attack, Naruto grabbed a hold of Mitsuki and threw her to the ground, followed by his body which he smashed into hers. How's that, Naruto said as he backflipped and landed a few feet away from Mitsuki. Strong, Naruto heard Mitsuki say from the crater she was in. I decided that I'll make you one of MYD. Be proud of yourself to be chosen to become one of my vassals. As the future overlord, Mitsuki said as she walked out of the crater and dusted her clothes. How is she still standing? Naruto asked as he looked on with fear as Mitsuki started to walk towards him. I'm not going to lose here, Naruto said as he started to pant. Hey, I won't lose, Naruto thought as his vision started to blur. I see you need to learn your place, Mitsuki said as she hefted her sword once more and charged straight at Naruto. Just when she was about to attack Naruto though, Naruto seemed to gain a burst of energy which blasted Mitsuki back. I won't lose, Naruto said with more vigor as a red aura started to gather around him. You picked the wrong person to mess with today, Naruto said as his whisker marks started to stand out. Or in the red aura flared up some more. You lose, Naruto said as he concentrated on one hand before creating what looked like a giant swirling red ball. Udama Rasengan, Naruto shouted as he charged at Mitsuki, making her get his and blasted back a few feet. I win, Naruto said weakly as he fell down and making the aura dissipate. Naruto, are you alright? Claire asked as she ran over to him. Out cold. Looks like he is in no place to fight now, Claire thought as she looked Naruto over. What's this, two tails? Claire thought as she picked Naruto up. Looks like Mitsuki-sama lost. This can't be happening, the Nekomata said as she picked up the girl and left. Oi Bismarck, come help me with Naruto, Claire said as she called up the Prinny to help her. Oi, when are you going to become my vassal? A girl asked as she stood over our protagonist Naruto. How about never? Naruto said as he calmly lied down on a grassy field. I kind of enjoy being free and making my own choices, Naruto continued as he closed his eyes. Is that all you're just worrying about? A free will and choices? Then I could let you have all those as long as you served me, the girl named Mitsuki said as she talked to Naruto. Will you just leave me alone? Naruto shouted as he pushed himself up with his arms and jumped away from Mitsuki. God, why do women have to be so persistent? Naruto asked as he jumped further away from the place which Mitsuki was now inhabiting. You can't escape from me. Mitsuki yelled before Naruto disappeared in a flash of yellow. Damn, why do all the men run away from me? I only ask them to be my vassals. Because most of the males you try to make your vassals end up in a hospital or tired to death, a Nekomata thought in the sidelines as she watched her master fuming. Fists, swords, bows, guns, staves, spears, and axes. Too many weapons to try and master, Naruto said to himself as he strolled around the town of chaos. Even though he had stayed here for 1 week and a half, he still wasn't acquainted with everyone. The closest person you could call a friend inside the town would be Joan, whom he made daily visits to. While moving down the familiar cobblestone road to Joan's niche, he noticed something which he never paid attention to before. It was a girl who seemed to have a regal look around her. She just stood in one spot like Joan did, and had a bored look on her face. What was her name again? Naruto thought as he blankly stared at the girl. The girl, feeling someone stare at her, turned her head towards the right a bit. Seeing the regular people such as some warriors, one Mothman, and even a zombie, she didn't seem bothered at all. When she finally laid eyes on Naruto, did the bored look on her face seem to disappear. He's that new guy that's staying with Claire. What's his name? Again, the girl thought as she saw Naruto and stared blankly at him like he did to her. Breaking out of his stare first, Naruto decided to ask her name and started to walk over to her. When he was within arm's distance of her, did the girl regain her conscience and stop staring at Naruto with a blank gaze. Immediately the girl started to babble on Summit, in a rushed sentence, earning a confused look from Naruto. Oh, sorry, I was just lost in my thoughts there. The name's Kira and your name is Uzumaki. Naruto surprisingly said properly. Oh, Mr. Uzumaki, are you here to enter the Dark Assembly to file a bill, or are you here to make yourself a vassal? Dark Assembly. I see you don't know much about the Dark Assembly. If you did, I'd have seen you here more often than you saw Joan perhaps. Anyway, getting off topic, the Dark Assembly is an area where you can file a bill to make certain items and such. For example, you can get a bill to make a new character, or pass something to get more expensive items out in the market. Or you could pass something to get higher stats on yourself or reincarnate yourself again. That's a lot of info to take in at one time. That's not all. You have to use a special force called mana to create these monsters or demons to become your vassal or pass a bill. Think of how strong you are currency for making new things. But that's not all. To pass a bill you have to get it past the senators, which can sometimes be a pain in the butt, but if you can either bribe them or beat them in a match, then you can get your bill passed. I see. So what would you like to do today, Mr. Uzumaki? First, I would like you just to call me by my name, and second, can I go into the place to make new vassals? Right away, Mr. Uzumaki. Wait. Naruto let out as he saw that Kira would not listen to him anymore. Here we go. In a wave of her hand, the two seemed to disappear and reappear somewhere else. It was some kind of hall which had people going in and out of places, with some monsters and demi-humans wandering around. So you wanted to make a new vassal? Let's go over here then, talkin'. His hand. Kira led the two through the crowds of people, not caring if they bumped into anyone. Navigating through the crowd, the two soon reached a desk in which Kira sat on the other side and motioned for Naruto to sit in front of her. Let's see. Uzumaki. Naruto, Kira mumbled to herself as she started to go through what looked like a huge book. Ah, here it is. Looking at the book she pulled out, it had his picture on it and what looked to be a brief profile. It appears you can make only a few demi-humans, however you were able to make a plethora of monster creatures. Must be because why? Oh, you literally live in the item world. Oh, what item are you working on right now? That's a bit off topic, but I was thinking about trying something about this necklace, Naruto said as he fingered the necklace around his neck. It's not normal for sure, Naruto said before he put the necklace back under his shirt. Okay. Anyway, who would you like to make? From the demi-humans you can make so far a warrior, female warrior, red, blue, green, skull and magician, a thief, and a healer. Flipping through the pages a bit, Kira then continued, or you could make almost every single monster-type vassal. From the selection here, of course I could read it to you, but it would be better if you read it by yourself. Staring at the book in front of him, he saw some pictures of monsters he had already defeated in battle already. If I do remember, the girls with the wings did cast some magic which was hard to dodge, and right now I don't know anyone that can cast any magic, Naruto thought as he ruminated on his choices. For now, I'll choose the Impusa from the Succubus class and Nekomata from the Flynn class. As for the humans, I would like to hire a healer and a blue mage. Is that all? Kira asked with a demanding look on her face. Seeing no look of hesitation on his face, Kira filed some forms out before grasping Naruto's hand. Placing it into a weird device, a few numbers came up on a screen nearby. 10k of mana. That's quite a lot for someone who doesn't have any vassals except for a Prinny. Well, I did have a lot of chakra from where I was from. Naruto tried to give a reason to explain this. Oh, it's nothing about power. Well, I guess it does depend on power. You mana from defeating enemies. Apparently you defeated quite a few. You could say that. So how long will this process take? Well, a bit longer, since now I need to know what kind of warrior you want from these classes. There are different ways to make them, such as genius, distinguished, skill, average, incompetent, and the good for nothing. Can you have them all be distinguished? As for their stats, I don't care as long as they can put up a good fight. All right. Your order is done, Kira said as she looked up from the table. Your vassals should be here in a few minutes. Since they are transported here with your mana from different dimensions, it might take a while. 1. Okay, Naruto said as he leaned back in the chair he was in and closed his eyes. You're back here again, I see, Naruto heard a voice say. Noticing that he couldn't hear any of the hubbub that was going on in the hall, Naruto opened his eyes. Instead of seeing the hardwood desk in which held the papers for his vassals and Kira, his guide, he saw in front of him a little black fox. Well, it's good to see you too, Naruto said as he walked slowly over to the black fox. So any idea on why I'm here? Nope. Just kidding, the fox added quickly when he saw Naruto face fault. What I wanted to talk to you about was a Fami Liar energy signature that I've been feeling coming closer. Though it's familiar, I can't say that it's the one I remember since it's much weaker than from before. However, this source is a bit unnerving, just a warning. And how do you know this and I don't? We're not completely connected, so there are some things I know that you don't. The fox gave a grin before jumping away towards the cage. I'll be keeping an eye on things, so don't worry and have fun with your vassals, the fox said before Naruto saw himself disappear. Troublesome, Naruto thought as he closed his eyes again. It was a matter of seconds before he heard the hubbub of the area again. Something smells like roses, Naruto thought before he felt something rubbing against his face. As long as they don't touch the ears. Naruto began to think only to feel the familiar sensation of someone rubbing his ears. It does feel good, Naruto thought before he let out a pleasing purr before opening his eyes. Sitting in his P was a Nekomata with red hair and seemed to be nuzzling her face against his. Feeling him shift a bit, the Nekomata stopped nuzzling him and looked him in the eye. So you're the one who hired us, right? Naruto could only nod dumbly. Well, at least you're cute. Wouldn't want to serve someone that was ugly or a girl, but if I did serve a girl I guess I would turn into a lesbian, the girl said with a hint of lust. You're not the only one who's glad that he's a good looker, Naruto heard someone say behind. Turning his head, he felt the hands leave his head. Behind him stood a girl in some kind of black bikini which tried to cover her assets. Try not to assault him when he's not looking, succubus, another voice said appearing next to the succubus. Turning his head a bit to the right, he saw a girl with long blonde hair in a brown robe. I don't assault males, I just wait for them to assault me. Can we just stop talking and just get out of this place? It's getting too crowded here for my likes, another girl said. Turning his head he saw the last girl, a blue mage, and true to the name blue, she had blue hair which was as long as the healer's hair. If all's settled, then let's get you guys out of here, Kira said as he stood up from the desk and walked over to Naruto. Putting her hand on his shoulder, there was a brief pulse of energy before the group disappeared from the room. Although nobody noticed anything as it was just normal. That Naruto came to this part of town, right? Mitsuki asked as she traveled with her vassal. Yes, he did. Apparently he went to the Dark Assembly for the first time, as can be seen with the absence of Kira, her Nekomata vassal. Look, here they come now. A summoning seal could be seen forming on the ground before them. A few lightning streaks happened before a few forms could be seen in the field. Instead of 2 forms there were 6 forms seen entering the field, 2 of them being recognizable, while the other 4 were not. So this is the town you're staying in. It's quite small compared to the magic academy I was staying at. No men. Quite a disappointment. Where will be going now, master? NYA. Why did I get vassals again? One familiar voice asked as Naruto stepped forward with a Nekomata and a succubus leaning on him. There you are, Mitsuki yelled out as she spotted Naruto in the middle of the girls. Shit. Bismarck, get over here, Naruto shouted. As soon as he did, a blue prinny appeared next to Naruto with surprising agility. You called Sue. You were in charge of these 4 girls until I lose Mitsuki. Don't know how long it'll take, but my best bet might be in the item world. Bye, Naruto said as he jumped up, although someone still held onto him before he disappeared in midair. You're not escaping from me a second time, Mitsuki said as she too jumped up after Naruto. Sigh, I wonder when she'll give up Sue. Okay, let's see here now. 1, 2, 3, where's the 4th girl? The new vassals earned around looking for the one that was missing. Well, us 2 demi-humans are here, that leaves. Damn, stupid Nekomata. She knocked me off before I could get a good grip, the succubus said as she started to pout. Sue, what now? I guess I should take you back to where Claire's house is. Thank God that Claire has a huge house, Sue, Bismarck said as he started to lead the girls away from the town and towards Claire's house. Joan, Naruto yelled out as he started to fall from the sky with his extra luggage. Naruto, open an item world to this item quickly, Naruto said as he reached for his neck. Pulling his necklace off, he threw it at Joan, who expertly caught it. Another rare item, Alert, seeing as to how much of a hurry you're in, I'll open it now. Joan sighed. As a portal appeared in front of Naruto before it engulfed him and his baggage. Another quiet day, I guess, Joan said as she just stood where she was. Naruto, let me rephrase that. Another normal day. What are you doing here? Naruto asked as he finally noticed who was attached to his arm. It was the red-haired Nekomata whom he had summoned earlier with his mana. I'm being a loyal vassal in following my master around, the Nekomata responded in a happy manner. Besides, I don't think we should be talking right now, especially with those things advancing on us. Looking over to where she pointed, Naruto saw a squadron of zombies looking over at them. There were mainly green zombies, but there was one blue zombie which seemed to be the strongest out of them all. Brains, the zombies drawled on as they started to walk over to the 2. Zombies, not again. Well, I guess it's a good time to test out my sword skills, Naruto said as he pulled out a sword from his back. Also, I hope you can give me a good show. Count on it. By the way, the name's Akira, Akira said as she sped up to the closet zombie. Naruto, but I'm pretty sure you know that. Running forward, Naruto seemed to gain some speed which he used. Blade Rush, Naruto shouted, running through 3 zombies before jumping back. Cat Strike, Akira shouted, delivering a few hits to a zombie before throwing a powerful uppercut, which sent the zombie up in the air. Chance, running over to where Akira was, Naruto jumped up into the air and started to spin with his sword. Let's go, Naruto shouted as he used he momentum of his spin to slice the zombie in half. Brains, one zombie somehow managed to get close to the 2 as Naruto landed as started to spin. Shit, both student and master said as the zombie started to spin around them, creating a black tornado in what it was doing. When the attack was finished, the zombie just looked at what it had done, not expecting a swiroo its face. That's it, I'm pissed off now," Naruto shouted as he started to charge at the remaining zombies. When the first zombie was in range, Naruto charged past it before spinning around with his sword in his right hand to slice the zombie in half. Pushing chakra to his feet after that kill, Naruto jumped over the crowd of zombies and headed off to where the blue one stood. "I guess I can't stay idle," Akira started to walk off to the other zombies with a deadly grin pasted on her face. Even if they were undead, the zombies couldn't help but shudder as they thought they could see a Shinigami behind her. Naruto in meantime was still in mid-air as he threw his sword at the zombie. Surprisingly though, the zombie stepped out of the way and stared up at him with a smile. Putting both hands out in front Naruto didn't expect for its hands to shoot and grab him. Shit, the bandages on the zombie's arms seemed to grab him tightly like the one's Lee hand. Immobilized with no way to form a seal or use a weapon, Naruto quickly thought of an alternative way to use any kind of technique. Before he could though, he felt his body slam into one of the weirdly shaped panels that made up for the limited space. Damn it, I don't have Kyuubi's power, so I can't use an outburst of chakra or form a claw, or can I? Thinking of a new possibility, Naruto started to channel his chakra around his hand, ignoring the pain and the desperate calls of Akira. "Overcoat. Arm," Naruto shouted as he opened his eyes suddenly. At first nothing happened, but a second later the bandages encasing Naruto ripped to shreds, freeing Naruto. "Brains. No, not brains, but a new technique," Naruto said as he held up his right arm to show an aura surrounding it. It wasn't red like he had thought it would be, instead it was dark black, which seemed to match with the two tails and ears he had. The aura around his arm just seemed like a mass of energy until it started to take form into something else. The chakra seemed to cries. Tall eyes as a black metal-like substance started to form. It turned into a black-plated arm which covered most of his right arm. Other than the one long blade extended from the fist, the armor seemed to serve no purpose except protection. "Die," Naruto said as he threw his three-pronged kunai at the zombie. The zombie expectantly dodged the kunai, but it couldn't dodge a stab to the back. "Hiroshin," Naruto said silently before he removed the blade from the zombie by kicking the zombie off. "Master," Akira said as she ran over to her new master, who was now slumping on the ground. The armor on his arm soon dissipated into a black cloud as Naruto closed his eyes before opening them. A tired look marred his face. "I'll be fine," Naruto said between breaths as he held his head tightly. "That new move just took a lot of concentration out of me. I don't even know exactly how I did that," Naruto said before he saw the scenery change in front of them. No longer were they on a field with dead zombies, but this time a field filled with all sorts of monsters, with one beast tamer in the middle. "This is going to be a long day," Naruto said as he saw the monsters advance onto them. "At least I'm getting good experience," Akira said with a smile on her face. "And I get to show you why I'm useful," Akira finished as she charged at the enemies. "Sigh women," Naruto thought before he chased after Akira. A few hours later. "So let me get this straight, you're Mimi," Claire pointed to the blue mage, "you're Chiharu," pointing to the succubus, "and you're Ruby," pointing to the healer. "Yes," all three responded as they sat in a setsu position in front of Claire. "Why do I have to sit like this next to these vassals? It's so demeaning to me," Mitsuki complained as we see her sitting in setsu position next to Naruto's new vassals. "Because you're the one that caused the fight and nearly destroyed my house, again." "PSH, it's just a house." "Say that again," Claire said as her face seemed to darken while she held onto her axe, threatening to slam it into Mitsuki. "Nothing. So I hope you girls understand the rules now, if not all." Without speaking, Claire just slammed the axe down next to her with a smile on her face. "I hope you get the message," Claire said before she picked up her axe and hefted it over her shoulder. "Also tonight I'll be cooking bloody murder." Bismarck yelled suddenly as he made for the door only for it to slam into his face. "I'm back." "Oh hey Bismarck," Naruto said as he looked at the flattened Prinny. "I'm sorry but I won't be of any use today since I'm tired out, just leave me be," Naruto said with a yawn before he disappeared in a yellow flash. "I wonder where he gets all those markers for his teleportation thing." "Teleportation markers? I thought he only used the three-pronged kunai. Ku whatever," Well, you get what I mean, Mitsuki said as she stood up. Did I say you could stand up? Feeling an ominous aura, Mitsuki quickly sat back down in a setsu position. Now for you, Akira. Yes, Akira. Will you behave or will you be like them? I'm behaving, Akira said smugly before she sat down on a couch next to the girls. Time for a cat nap, Akira suddenly said as she gave a long stretch before lying down, soon sleeping. Why aren't you getting angry at her? Chiharu asked out in anger. Because she hasn't done anything to anger me, yet. Now if I let you go, will you girls behave? All the girls in setsu position nodded. Good. Turning around, Claire heading into the kitchen where all sorts of sounds could be heard. Mo. Saint of the times, the girls couldn't help but sweat drop. So what did you do? Chiharu asked as she stood up slowly. Aw man, I can feel nothing in my legs. Getting no response from the Nekomata, Chiharu slowly walked over to Akira. I know you're not sleeping, so wake up. Making a move to punch the girl, Chiharu stopped short when she felt the Nekomata grab her hand. Leave me alone. I'm tired, Rig. HT now because of that stupid item world. It was such as high level that I didn't have any time to get closer to Naruto-sama. Also, even if the healer does heal everything, they still can't heal someone's fatigue. Letting go of Chiharu's hand, Akira turned around in the sofa a bit before she fell asleep again. Grumble, if that's so then I'll go see what our new master is doing, Chiharu unconscious. Lee rubbed her arm as she climbed upstairs, swaying her hips up the whole way. Why did I have to be in the same group as a succubus? Mimi said as she readjusted the ribbon on her head. We can't be mean to everyone. Just give her some time, I'm sure. You'll grow to like her, Ruby replied as she moved over to Bismarck, who was twitching a bit. Let's see here, I'm pretty sure it went like this. Heal, Ruby said, raising a staff. A green surrounded the prinny before it faded. When the light faded, so did the wounds on the prinny. Thank you, Bismarck said as he stood up fine and walked around. Before falling down again with the same wounds on him. Quote. I'm sure I did that spell correctly. Anti-hell, Mimi asked as she looked at the prinny who was twitching again. Let me try that again. Heal. This time a purple light surrounded the prinny before he stopped moving. Quote. Is there such a thing as a healer who can't heal? What are you talking about? I heal perfectly, Ruby said as she pointed at Bismarck. Heal, Ruby shouted. This time a green light came out again and Bismarck stood up, walking again. First an evil cooker, now an evil healer. Why me? Just think of yourself expendable, that's why. Stupid evil world. Quote. Hey, it's the netherworld, what did you expect? Quote. I was only trying to help. Some help you are, Bismarck replied before he disappeared upstairs. You know, out of all the characters I think prinnies deserve the most respect. Quote. Yeah right, both girls said before they relaxed on another sofa next to Akira. I'm guessing I'm already asleep. Nah. Ruto spoke out as he slowly opened his eyes. True to what he said, he wasn't in the inn before. Instead he was in a forest-like area with one black fox lying down on his stomach. Exhaling a large foxy yawn, the black fox spoke. You got that right, but apparently I didn't call you here this time. Confused, Naruto stared at the black fox as he sat up, cupping the fox in his hands so it wouldn't fall off. Naruto then looked around himself. The forest he was in was one he had never seen before. He was also assaulted by an assortment of smells as he just sat there. So I'm guessing we have to find the person that called us, right? Naruto stood up, placing the black fox onto his shoulder. Climbing up to his hair on his own, the black fox then said, yes, though be careful, the one who called us here is quite strong and familiar. Well, let's go then, Naruto said as he walked deeper into the forest that they were in. While walking, the two saw sights such as an occasional bird or small fox wandering by. Reminds me of the forests in Konoha, Naruto thought as he briefly stopped to lean against a tree. Feeling a presence nearby, Naruto just kept his eyes closed and waited. Slowly fingering his kunai holster, Naruto prepared for an assault of any kind. However, he felt no killing intent or intent for battle. Instead he felt someone touching his tail. What the? Naruto began to think, or his thoughts began to lose coherency. Feels so good, was the only thing Naruto could think coherently before he opened his eyes slowly, still in bliss. The first thing he saw in front of him were two tails. Like his only these were red in color. When he looked towards where the tails were connected he saw something that caused him to blush. White unblemished skin, no clothes or panties to see. Over the skin that connected with the red fluffy tails. Moving his head towards his back he saw the cause of his period of bliss. It was a girl, apparently from the long red hair. She was hunched over his tail, grooming it with her hands. What interested him most on her head was the two red fox ears that perked up before she stood up. Just like him she had slits for eyes, red eyes. The two figures stared at each other for a while, letting the wind blowing through leaves and trees take up the sound. Finally someone spoke, the girl. "So who are you?" the girl asked, a predictable question. "I could ask the same for you." Playing hard to get, huh? "Well, if you want to know, my name is Kimi." Taking a bow forward Naruto said, "Uzumaki Naruto at your service Kimi." Returning back to his regular position Naruto continued. "So can you tell me why you've called me to this homely forest?" "I was hoping you would have the answers yourself." Kimi visibly saddened, "But that doesn't mean that the clan has died out," Kimi suddenly said with vigor as she pumped her hand once. "Ha, yes, I'll rebuild the Fox clan and take revenge on that stupid overlord, but I first need pure-blooded fox demons. However, last time I checked I was the only one that survived that genocide of the Fox clan. But standing in front of me is a male/potential mate," Kimi said as she paced around in front of Naruto. "But that should be impossible, right? But he had two tails and is Najutsun. God, this is so confusing," Kimi yelled out as she squatted down on the ground and ruffled her hair in annoyance. Suddenly jumping up Kimi pointed at him and yelled, "It's decided, you'll be my mate. Wait for me, I'll be at your location soon." "Huh, wait, you shouldn't." Before he finished Kimi disappeared leaving a confused Naruto and a little fox. Naruto turned to the little black fox, "Did you understand anything?" "Nope. Let's just go back now. I have a feeling that you're either going to have more trouble. Life now, or you're just about to be rode." The fox finished, causing Naruto to panic a bit. "Well, see ya." Naruto closed his eyes before he opened them again. "I can't move my arms" was the first thought that came to Naruto's mind before he saw what the problem was. Apparently someone had come into the room and banded his arms and legs while he was sleeping. "If you're one of my new vassals, then I advise you not to do this." "Now why would I do that? I just want to get to know you better," Naruto heard a familiar voice say before he saw a girl come into his vision. It was the succubus, apparently named Chiharu, who had tied him down. She had only a black bra and panties which showed her bust well. Something wet traveled down Naruto's nose before he felt the girl land on top of him. "Chi, looks like you're also happy to see me," Chiharu said close to Naruto's face before she blew lightly into Naruto's ear. "Someone save me," Naruto thought as he couldn't help but shiver a bit. "Feelin' her turn around he looked up and saw Chiharu's ass right above his head. "Now let me just take these unnecessary clothes off." A slow zip was heard as Chiharu started to unzip his pants. That is until a shout of "ice" rang out in the room. Immediately Chiharu was encased in a block of ice before she fell off of Naruto. "Why did I have to work with a succubus?" Mimi came into the room holding a staff in both hands. "They always seem to cause the most problems. At least that is what was written in the textbooks." Mimi then approached Naruto and untied the strings that were binding him. "Thanks. Don't mention it. I'm just protecting my master after all. You don't have to call me that. You can just call me Naruto if you want." "All right. Naruto-sama." Sigh. "Oh well, it's a start. So can you tell me how long I've been sleeping for?" Naruto stood up and zipped up his pants again. "Apparently for 1 hour. That is until she woke you up." Mimi pointed to the succubus who was in the block of ice. Suddenly the ice cracked and it revealed a pissed-off Chiharu looking at Mimi with an intent to kill. "Die!" Chiharu yelled as she jumped towards Mimi with her fists raised. "I'd love to stay and get to know you better, Naruto-sama. But apparently I have to avoid rabid succubus," Mimi said as she dodged Chiharu's assault and ran down the stairs. Naruto stared at the door listening to all the commotion happening. He first heard sounds of people running and shouting at each other. Then that shouting escalated into what sounded to be gunshouts and then an explosion before it quieted down. Must have been Claire, Naruto concluded before he started to smell something he dreaded. No, Claire must have cooked today. Naruto immediately went into a self-preservation mode and looked for any modes of escape. Going downstairs was a surefire way of getting killed, so that left only one choice. Man, and I just woke up too, Naruto said as he opened his window and jumped outside. Naruto landed on his feet before he started to dash away from the house. A few meters away he started to hear screams of agony coming from the house. Naruto stopped and folded his hands in front of him. May you all find peace. Continuing on, Naruto soon found himself in town again for the second time. I've already gone to the item world, and I've visited the Dark Assembly, so what now? Well, you could always visit other places with the warp guide, so you are, Naruto said without turning. Ruby, the healer you chose to summon, I see, so what are you doing out here? Well, I sensed something news in the kitchen, so I left the house before I could eat anything, and now I'm bored. I see, well, I don't feel like going out of this town for now, although I always wanted to see what the inside of the Overlord's castle was like. It is close to here after all, Naruto said, stretching his arms a bit. Really? Then I'll go with you. I want to meet the Overlord of this world too. Sadly, as I've heard, this world doesn't have a Overlord, so we won't be meeting any. Then why don't you become this world's Overlord? Naruto fell on his face before picking himself up. If I became the Overlord, then I'll probably be challenged every day by people stronger than me, just like when Mitsuki challenged me for being the strongest in this town. But if you're the strongest in this you'll be able to stand up to most other demons lords, as most of the demon lords in a world like this have to be around the same level. If they weren't, then one of the demon lords would have already become an overlord, Ruby reasoned out. That could be true, Naruto said, rubbing his chin a bit. Well, anyway, let's get to that overlord's castle. Hi Uzumaki Dono. Do you know where the warp guide is? Sweat drop. I think we should ask around. Hi. A few hours later. So this is the Overlord's castle, huh? The two stood outside what seemed to be European medieval-style saws. Which was high enough to reach for the clouds. Quite romantic, don't you think? Yeah, sure, Naruto said as he saw some kind of giant bird fly out of the castle. Very romantic. Where does this girl get all her ideas from? Well, let's go in, Ruby said as she stepped forward to the gate of the castle. Pushing the gate forward, it didn't open at all. It's not opening. Wonder what is going on. Here, let me try. Naruto stepped forward and put his hand on the gate. It was then that a faint glow passed between the gate and Naruto's, but it only lasted for a split second, so no one noticed. However, faint lines could be seen over on top of Naruto's forehead, though most of it was covered. It opened, Naruto said. So strange it didn't open up for me. Well, I guess I'm special, Naruto said, grinning a bit. Taking a step forward into the castle, Naruto soon was surrounded by bright light which encircled him completely. Uzumaki Dono, Naruto heard Ruby say before he heard nothing else from Ruby. What was that? Naruto asked as he stood up slowly. So you're the one that opened up this castle, correct? Naruto turned around to see a man with a dark aura around him. His clothes consisted of a bright red shirt along with a cape which covered his blue jeans. His hair was a dark purple which was accented by his dark red eyes. Yeah, what if I did? Then I congratulate you. After all, this castle won't open up for anyone. I made sure of that. The man walked over to Naruto before placing his hand on his head. With this, I, the one who made this castle, will give you a test in which you have to find my soul. A test? Why would you want to test me? All I just wanted to do was explore this castle. Well, then think of it this way. The castle has chosen you, so you have no choice, the man said as some kind of energy started to flow into Naruto. Also, if you fail, your body's energy will cause an explosion in yourself. Nani, you might want to hurry since this is timed. The man disappeared in a swirl of black energy. Uzumaki Dono, are you alright? Naruto felt Ruby shaking him. Crap, he didn't tell me where to go. He then turned to Ruby. Ruby, we Have to find something important to Soul. Okay, but how are we going to find it? I don't know. Naruto then felt something burning on his head, but if we don't hurry it's going to kill me. Naruto yelled as he ran into the castle courtyard. Now this is just weird. We practically went everywhere, and we haven't found this thing that you're looking for, Ruby said as she sat down in a large chair. Well, we have to keep on searching, if we don't all die. Sigh, it's best if we have a thief, then we probably could have found what you were looking for. If things keep up like this, ouch, it's burning up, Naruto said as he gripped his head. It was burning up with some kind of purple energy. How pitiful. You couldn't find me in that time limit I set for you. Well, I guess it was kind of cheap hiding like this. A mass of purple energy came out from behind Naruto out of the floor. It then took form of the man he had met before. Well, since that is the case, I'll give you another chance. The floor began to change where he was standing and soon they were in an empty room. The man was on the opposite side of them along with a few marionettes. Defeat me and you'll live. The man soon materialized a weird long sword. Ruby, you ready? Naruto asked as he saw Ruby standing next to him with her own pretty staff. I'm ready, but looks like this battle won't be easy with all those geo panels out. Looking down, Naruto did see that the floor was colored differently in a square-like formation. And the panels are against us. Looking at the panels, they indeed showed the effects such as enemy boost 50 or ally damage 20. Oh well, as long as we don't stand there or we don't touch those panels we won't be overpowered, Naruto said, pulling out his own sword. Ruby, stay back and support me with spells. I'll take care of most of them. Alright, first take this spell, Braveheart. Naruto soon felt a burst of power go through him. Yosha, take this Blade Rush. Naruto rushed through GH2 marionettes who were unfortunate enough to line up behind each other. Hearing something, Naruto turned to his side to see a marionette throw up a few knives in the air. It then started to turn around at high speeds. When the knives fell, it shot the knives at Naruto. Hey! The knives hit him, but Naruto was soon replaced with log. The marionette who shot knives at him looked around for Naruto, only for it to feel a blade at its head area. Bye! Naruto slashed through, destroying the marionette. Uzumaki Dono behind you, Ruby shouted, only for Naruto to be knocked up into the air. Shit! Naruto felt the constant attacks from the marionette's spin bomb attack before he started to fall towards to the ground. Sticking out his hand, Naruto landed on it and pushed on it, propelling himself up. Swinging his sword in a moon-like arc, Naruto then made a slash, yelling out, "Moon Slash!" The slash reached the marionette, destroying it in one hit. However, when he did land, Naruto stumbled a bite, which one of the marionettes took as an advantage. It started to spin its body in its regular attack, which reached for Naruto. Shield! A weird energy surrounded Naruto, blocking the majority of the attack. Thank you, Naruto briefly said before he tossed his sword up. Triple strike! Naruto delivered 3 strikes to the marionette that tried to attack him. When it was hit up, Naruto jumped up too and grabbed his sword, which was still in mid-air. You're finished! Naruto slashed down, putting all his momentum into the attack, which destroyed the monster in one hit. I'm good, Naruto smiled, giving a thumbs up. You've still got me to deal with. Naruto couldn't help but shiver a bit as he felt the immense power leak out from the man. Well, that's good, because I'm just getting warmed up. Naruto shouted the last part as he stabbed backwards with his sword. Really? Because it looks like you're pretty tired out. The man easily blocked Naruto's sword with his before he his Naruto up. Why is it always up? Naruto thought before he heard Dark X slash. The man flew 2 different ways, making an X slash over Naruto before he started to slash upwards right between the slash marks. When it was finished, there was a small explosion and Naruto was sent backwards. Ouch! Naruto let out with a foolish grin on his face. That could have taken me out. Naruto then landed on his back next to Ruby. Uzumaki Dono, hold still, I'll heal you right now. Heal? Surprisingly, Ruby didn't mess up and did heal Naruto to a degree. Stay back from now on. You won't be able to survive one of his attacks. No, Ruby replied, shocking Naruto. If I did back down, I wouldn't be able to call you my master and it would tarnish my pride. Ruby, besides, don't think you're all alone. Huh. Naruto then saw an axe pass right by him and hit the man straight on. Claire. Naruto asked as he saw the axe return behind him to its owner. Yup. Next time you do a stupid stunt like this, make sure to bring me. Claire said as she walked next to Naruto. Hey, I guess I did screw up. Why you? The man raised his sword to strike at the group. Stand back, Naruto quickly shouted as he raised his sword to parry the blow. Enfeeble, a light surrounded the man, making him weaken enough for Naruto to blow. We made it. Don't forget about me, sexy heal. Naruto soon was in another light, which made him feel better. Make sure you heal him better next time, healer. HMPH. At least I can buff Naruto up. Braveheart. Naruto was again surrounded in the aura that made him feel stronger again. Cat Blast. Another attack went by Naruto in a beam which hit the man, sending him back a few more feet. TCH. A vassal of mine shouldn't be defeated like this. You shouldn't let us down, master. I guess I shouldn't. I'll put everything I have in this next blow then. Soon a black aura surrounded Naruto just like it did in the item world. This time, however, it surrounded his whole body. Ove. RCOAT. Naruto silently said as the aura crystallized over his body. Night. When he said the last word, Naruto stood in a black armor. It consisted of a plate mail along with plate legs and gauntlets. In all, it made him look like a knight of sorts. The sword that was in his hand seemed to increase in length and turned into a black color to match his armor. Let's go, Naruto said in a strained voice. Now you're talking. The two charged at each other with each of their swords covered in mana. Then when they were about 20 feet apart did they shout out their move in perfect sin. Dimension. Blade. Each of their swords was surrounded in their energy, Naruto's in black while the other in purple. It's over. Goodbye, boy. The two slashed down at the exact same time, their elongated blades meeting each other. It was a stalemate for a few seconds. Neither moved backwards, only taking steps forward in a feat to overpower each other. The onlookers looked in awe as they're both fighters. Emitted unbelievable energy levels from each other. They're about the same level in power. It's only a matter of who has the better stats, Mitsuki concluded. Just as she finished saying that, Naruto's blade seemed to be pushed back a bit before Naruto had to take a step back. Naruto, you can't lose. Claire shouted to cheer him on. Uzumaki Dono, fight on. Ruby shouted alongside of Claire. Getting the signal, Akira rose up and shouted. Master, hurry up and win so I can spend some time with you. Why would he want to spend time with you when Naruto-kun can have some fun with me? So just hurry up if you want some of this. Chiharu shouted as she pushed Akira out of the way. Naruto-sensei, just don't lose, Mimi said in a normal tone. No vassal of mine is allowed to lose, Mitsuki shouted with her Nekomata vassal beside her. Hey, looks like I can't lose, Naruto said as he took a step forward to match their powers again. Let's end this now. Naruto nodded too, and then they both broke the deadlock that the two were in. Then in one quick motion both slashed across each other with their attack. The two were standing for a few seconds before the man fell to the ground. It's your win. I'd think it was a draw. Naruto's armor cracked before it shattered into pieces, which then turned into the same dark energy. Doesn't matter, as you've only just passed my test, but since why? Oh, you did, now you're eligible to take the throne and become this world's overlord, that is if you can beat another task. What other task? The man snapped his fingers and the gang apart in a large room. That reminded Naruto of the Hokage's office, paperwork. Behind him stood a table filled with paperwork. I never agreed to this. Naruto then turned around to see that everyone had left. Why me? Because you're special, and you're the first overlord of this netherworld. I'm just a spirit of another overlord from another netherworld. Oh really? Then why are you here? No specific reason. Oh, and just to tell you, paperwork ain't the only thing you need to worry about. Before you can become a full-fledged overlord, you must defeat the other demon lords of this world. However, I feel that most of them are getting stronger to take you on. But I never agreed to become an overlord. Tough luck, fate chose you, so there. Are you related to a Hyuga by any chance? Maybe. Now get to work. You have a tough job ahead of you. What job? Naruto said sarcastically before he fell back and went to sleep. Perhaps I shouldn't have used 40% of my power to fight this guy. Nah. The end. Remember to subscribe and like this video. See you in the next video.